Every man has taught himself a lie. It could be that girls don't date guys that aren't really good looking, or they don't date guys that don't have a job, or they don't date anyone that isn't over 6 foot. Every guy has a story that he tells himself, including me. My younger self was a virgin with performance anxiety, and that made me tell myself this story that because I was these things, girls wouldn't be interested in me, and it wasn't even really worth me trying. And what that led to was multiple instances where I would just self-sabotage situations. Embarrassingly, I can remember one time where we'd brought a couple of girls back to our apartment at university, and I was getting all up in my head and all nervous about the fact that I was going to actually have to show up and connect with this girl. I pretended to fall asleep instead, which, reflecting back on it, I missed out on a huge opportunity because that girl was interested and I kind of blew it because I do what every guy does that tells himself this story. I hide away from being vulnerable and being the man in the arena to try and protect myself. I think I'm protecting myself by telling myself this story about why that person won't be with me, instead of doing the brave thing, the courageous thing, of just going and find out. This is something that I picked up when I was learning approach and going over and speaking to girls. One of the best things that you can tell yourself when you see a girl across the way, she looks cute, you kind of want to speak to her, and then the thoughts come in and they start telling you, oh, but she's probably got a boyfriend, she probably wouldn't like you anyway, you're not really feeling it. And this simple line really helped me. Let's find out. She won't be interested. Well, let's find out. She's got a boyfriend. Let's find out. And walking over there and just making that approach leads to such different life outcomes, because being brave enough to go over there, you'll be shocked by the fact that girls will be interested in you. Flash forward from that boy that was the virgin suffering from performance anxiety that thought no girl would be interested in him. Well, 5 years later, maybe 7 years later, I've been able to have beautiful girlfriends and date girls under every circumstance, when I've not had a job, when I've lived with my parents, when I don't speak the language. There are so many different reasons that you can out yourself for why you don't think they'll be with you. I'm not particularly that tall. I've dated girls that are taller than me. All this ever is an excuse in your mind so you don't have to put yourself out there. It's a convenient story that we can tell ourselves about why, girls don't want guys that aren't rich. Well, that's comfortable for you then, because you're putting the onus and the blame on them, rather than looking at yourself and just being like, oh, maybe I'm insecure about my height, my appearance, my job. And now I'm projecting that onto the world and saying that's why they won't get with me. That's why they won't like me. When in reality, that's just why you don't like you. And that's the trap we get caught in, that we see all our own flaws. We see them in 4K definition all the time. And we're always with ourselves. So we start to build up this story about why that person wouldn't want to be with us. But that's all it is. It is a story. I guarantee you, she has dated guys uglier than you. Girls, we picture them to have this insane high standards, when in reality, what I've seen is girls just want a guy who is real, that isn't bringing the baggage of his 1,000 insecurities into the relationship, where he pushes them onto her. It is fine to be a bit insecure and own that. But if you're bringing it in and you're constantly pushing away from her as this safety precaution so you can avoid maybe getting hurt by a potential rejection that you've made up in your own mind, this will only lead you to being miserable. I've seen it time and time again. Guys who thought they had these massive reasons why a girl would not be with them. Then they put themselves out there. They roll the bloody dice and see what happens. And then they come back and it's just like, whoa, she didn't seem fussed at all. Like, she seemed to really get on with me despite X, Y, and Z, despite the fact that they can be feeling insecure about this. People are truly forgiving because let's look at it plainly. Everyone's insecure and everyone's flawed. These girls that you're looking at, they're not perfect. Most girls are lonely. Most girls have a mountain full of issues that they're working on too. If you're going across there thinking that you're needing to be perfect, you in fact just repel them because they can't deal with the fact that you have this like perfect persona. They have nothing to connect to. So next time you're getting all caught up in your own insecurity, know this, that it's fine. I even have a video that, if you check this out, I break down why insecurity is not the issue that you think it is, that it is holding you back. And if you really want to get over this problem and start approaching girls, check out this video and I'll break down exactly why your insecurity is actually a benefit and not a problem.